Today we're going to be looking at a store that is doing less than $75 per month in sales and find out why. That's coming up. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope your week is going great. And if we don't know each other, my name's Kerry, and I created this channel to bring you the best strategies, secrets, and hacks to grow your online t-shirt, apparel, or print-on-demand business. Before we get going today, I want to ask you to drop a like on this video if you enjoy it, and also consider subscribing to the channel. We put out brand new videos every single Tuesday, all about t-shirts, print-on-demand, apparel, and growing your online business. So consider subscribing. In this online world of experts and so much information and gurus and course sellers, you won't see many people showing you students who are not having success. But I think it's equally as important as showing you our students who are having success. And I think there is so much you can take from a store that's not succeeding or not having that success that they want, as looking at the stores who are just crushing it. So today, you might be in a situation where you're not making very many sales and you're trying to figure out why. What are the reasons why you might not be selling and really making the money that you want? And so today I'm going to show you one of our students' stores who's not doing as well as he'd like. Now, his name's Kip, and I asked my students, hey, I want to review your stores. And a couple weeks ago, I'll link a video I did of a store that's doing more than $10,000 per month, one of our students. But I said, I want to review your store, and Kip commented his store, and I asked him a couple questions, and he said that his sales numbers in 2021 were less than $400. So that's about $75 per month, $80 per month. He said he was a little bit embarrassed to say that. He's had some repeat sales. But I responded to Kip, and I said, hey, and this is what I want to encourage you with. If you're in this position where maybe you haven't made your first sale, or maybe you're only making a few $100s per month or less than $100 per month, if you have a store that's open and if you've put in the time to build that store, man, you are doing better than probably 80 or 90% of the people out there. Because most people, the reality is, and the statistics say, that most people will never start. So to Kip and any of you guys who are kind of in this situation, you should pat yourself on the back because you're so much further ahead and you've already taken so much action. So sometimes it's just a few tweaks, or it's really just taking that action that's going to reveal some things that you need to change or that you need to improve upon. And that's really how we learn, right? We can watch all the courses, watch all the videos, and get all the information, but we have to actually implement it before we see if it works and before we can really learn from it and figure out what our mistakes are. So I want to tell Kip right up front, and any of you guys, good job so far. If you've opened your store, you're so much further ahead. And today I want to reveal some reasons to you why you might not be selling by breaking down Kip's store and showing you what he's doing and why he's not making the sales that he wants. So let's dive into it. So we're looking at praisegear.club. Just quickly want to kind of give you an overview here. You can see it's a Christian t-shirt store. As we scroll down, you see a few different things here. These are categories, I guess, different designs. We see some more categories here. Not really sure what the difference is there. And then we see a few of the products. And what I would say about this front page is it's pretty good. I don't have an issue with this front page. I think that obviously Kip has has a good eye for design. He's put together a good color scheme, a decent logo, and it's laid out pretty well. I think this theme looks pretty clean. I'm not a huge fan of the font, but nothing too bad here. And if you watched any of my videos, you should probably already know that this front page, although important, it's not the most important pages of your website. The most important pages are the product pages. And that's what we really spend the most time on in these kind of reviews, or the thing that I spend the most time on when I'm working with my students is, what do their product pages look like? Because when you're running advertising, you're going to be sending your potential customers straight to the product page. And a lot of times they're not going to see these the front of your store. So this is a good job here. I think overall, I think it looks pretty clean. So good job here. But I'm not really worried about this page. It's really a lot of the other pages that we need to take a look at. The next thing I want to talk about is probably the most important reason why this store is not making sales. So I want you to pay close attention here. And I talk about this a lot, but it is the name and the niche that they are in, that Kip is in. And again, I believe this is the biggest reason why this store is not succeeding. And so let's talk about this. The name of the store is Praise Gear Club. Nothing wrong with that name, but the problem here is that as we scroll through and we look at what they've got and we even go over to their products, the name does not relate to the products and the designs. When I see that name, I'm thinking that this store is all going to be all around like praise and worship. Like that's what I think when I see that, and that's kind of the relation that I make. And maybe not everybody does. So I know that it's going to be a Christian store, but I'm coming here thinking that this is maybe like praise, worship, that kind of thing. So, it's Bible verses that are around, praising the Lord. It's maybe lyrics from hymns and lyrics from praise and worship songs that are out there that people like, right? Those are probably the things that are going to grab the attention in this niche. And that's the way that Kip could stand out a little bit and not just be another Christian t-shirt store, is by going a little bit deeper and focusing on, one part of Christianity, which is praise and worship, and something that's really popular and that a lot of people enjoy is praise and worship. So that's the biggest thing here. There's nothing wrong with the name, but the name does not really relate or tell me what the store is right off the bat. I'm thinking it's going to be something, and it's really something different. The other thing I think here is I don't know that Kip in this store really know who they're serving, right? And I talk all the time about you got to be really specific about who you're serving. And as I look at the pictures here and the designs and everything, I think they're not really sure what that age group is, what that, who that person is and what that person is into. And if we're just going to open a store that is just for Christians, as I've said so many times, the Christianity niche is so broad. There's bajillions of Christians. So you have to have a way to differentiate yourself. I think making it more praise and worship focused would be a much better option, because you don't see that as often, right? If all of this was around praise and worship and the probably hundreds of years of praise songs that are out there and hymns that are out there and all of that kind of thing, and the spirit of worshiping God and just that vein, that niche, I think would be a much better way to stand out, and it would make that connection from the name straight through to the store. And then just knowing who you want to serve and being specific about that, and not just being kind of broad in the Christianity niche, I think would go a long way. Now, in that same vein, one of the things that really stood out to me is when I went to the catalog and scrolled down, we not only have our Christian designs, but then we have designs like this. Now, I'm not going to talk about what this design is. I think most of you guys will know what this design is, and it's bashing Joe Biden, I assume. But this doesn't fit at all. I don't know, if this was just an idea that Kip had and just kind of threw up here, or what the why this is here, but it just doesn't fit. This is for a different store, a completely different niche. And if somebody comes to the website and sees something like that, it's an instant turnoff. And I'm not speaking to whether they're like a Biden fan or not. It has nothing to do with that. It just doesn't fit with this store. It's randomly thrown up there, and it looks unprofessional. It looks out of place, and I don't think that it helps. I think it actually just hurts the store. Another quick tip here in this store is that it's not organized. It needs to be organized pretty bad. We just have this catalog section here, and if somebody's searching around and trying to find, just looking through products, it needs to be organized, right? And I recommend organizing by, tees and tanks and hoodies and mugs, and really just separating these out so that you can get to things much quicker. Right now, we're just scrolling through kind of the same design for pages and pages and pages, and it's really hard to find anything, and it's just not organized. So we need to get this store organized. And the last thing I'll say here, and this really goes in relation to everything else I've talked about with the niche and the name and who we're serving, is that there's just really not a lot of originality here. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. There's nothing really here on this website that is really going to make me stop and go, oh my gosh, I have to have that. Because everything, this design is obviously playing off another design, but it doesn't really do much for me. It's not really that original. And so I definitely am not the person that's going to tell you that everything needs to be super original, but it does need to stand out. It does need to stop the scroll, and it does need to be something that's really, really passionate. And this is something that, again, is so general that, I can find Christian t-shirt stores. There's a bazillion of them, so it's so hard to stand out. And so that's why picking a segment like maybe praise and worship and going that route of doing like praise and worship lyrics and quotes from hymns and maybe verses around praise and worship would probably go a lot further than what we've got here with really these just kind of general Christian designs that are just all, pretty similar, right? So that would be my biggest feedback for Kip in this store. And to be honest with you, I see this in a lot of stores. A lot of people have great ideas and they go a million miles an hour. They get, really far into their store when they really need to go back to square one, and they need to think about their name, their niche, and who they want to serve. Those three things, really those two things, who you serve and what niche you want to be in, those are almost more important than anything, because the more clear you can get on that, the easier it makes everything else. It's easier to create designs. It's easier to sell. It's easier to market. Those things are so important. And I believe that's the reason why this store is not having the success that it wants. Hey, if you want more training, more in-depth teaching, we go super in-depth on all of this inside of our Shirt School program. We have individual lessons on things like your niche and specific formulas you can follow that are just step-by-step how to choose a niche, how to choose your name, how to lay out your store. All of these things are broken down inside of our Shirt School program, as well as tons of marketing strategies and tips and tricks in there, as well as our vibrant community of hundreds and hundreds of students from all around the world. So if you want to learn more about our Shirt School program, we have a free 60-minute masterclass that you can watch right now by just going over to shirtschool.com. We don't do fake timers. We don't do gimmicks. All you have to do is go over to that website, type in your email, and that video will start playing. It's a 60-minute class that really breaks down our Shirt School system and the steps of it and why it's so effective. And then at the end, you'll have an opportunity to become a student with us. And that's pretty exciting. So head over to shirtschool.com, give that a watch, and we'll see you next week.